Ms. Angelina Yose, Vice Chairperson, attending via Zoom. Attorney Santa Jaramillo and Attorney Ian regular members. Uh, Attorney Dana Jaramillo, attending via Zoom. Mr. Eric Imaculangan, provisional member.
Thank you. Proceeding the foregoing, the chair declares that there's a quorum for HO-BAC PGCS number 073/2020 come to order. Okay, let me get scheduled today.
We have 4 items in our agenda, Mr. Chair. Number 1 is the approval of minutes of the previous BAC meetings, HO-BAC PGCS 063-2020 and 064-2020, both dated 6 October 2020. Number 2 is the post-qualification report for the supply, delivery, and installation and implementation of port profile and engineering systems, supply, delivery, and installation of systems, furniture, and seating package for the Human Resource Management Department, procurement of information technology resources for Lot 1, OEM branded laptop computers, Lot 3, laser printer with wireless LAN, Lot 4, inkjet A3 printer, and Lot 5, high-speed scanners with automatic document reader. Item number 3, the deliberation on the request for reconsideration for the procurement of services for the repairs and maintenance, waterproofing, painting of roofing at deck of prepaid office is cancelled, considering that Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines did not file its request for reconsideration within the deadline for submission thereof on October 19.
So did they send any communication? Or it's just an absence of filing a motion for reconsideration?
No, they did not send any communication, sir.
Please communicate with them regarding the surrender of the second letter.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir. Item number 4 is the bid evaluation report for the supply, delivery, and installation of 52 units mass fever screening system, procurement of information IT resources, Lot 2 OEM branded desktop computers, and procurement of services for the repairs and maintenance, waterproofing, painting of roofing at deck of PTA head office.
Thank you. And that's your objections. Let's proceed to the first item on our agenda, the approval of the previous package. Paul. Sir.
Kami.
Ang joke.
Meron naman po akong layout at nung presentation.
Kasi ko naman nakipag-coordinate din kay
Pero mas maganda siya kung meron kong check para
sabihan ko lang siya. Sabihan siya.
Yung coordination nyo, lang sa pwede bang ilipat sa matanggal na sa isa, pwede bang ilipat na sa isa. Baka kasi klase kasi binabayaran natin yung monitoring natin pagtatanggalin mo, binabayaran natin.
Depende lang kung saan. Kasi kung wala pa tayong wiring.
So, it's so bad. It's so bad. Yung sinabi ko kanina. Kaya. At like, hindi, problema kasi, ayusin. Pwede din mo kasi yung tatanggal na. Hindi lang pwede sabihin, hindi mo kakapitan na kailangan ng If you want by the starting line. Hindi. Kasi yung mga ibang cabinet to, ay pwede na monitor yun. Kung kakabit ka ng bagong cabinet. So, that's the data document. Na hindi na dapat kasama yung wiring. Kasi kasama na sa building yung wiring. Hindi kaya kailangan yung correct location.
At pinipili natin yung sa ano, yung sa army. 28 na siya. Ang report. Ang post yung validation. Yung validation ng namin. Hindi pa siya nagsasama. Depende kung kailan.
Wala nagkikita tayo sa QB's office
Systems first.
wala silang paramdaman.
May communication tayo na sa clinics, ano? Yung sa kulang. Denial na nga. O may nagawa ko na ano ko na. Opo, wala silang ano, yung di ba dapat ako po.
Walang paramdaman.
Mr. Chair, may I move for the approval of minutes?
Angie, Dana, ano ba siya? Di ba siya? Yo, ay nasa the minutes.
Ano daw? Ano yun, sir?
Okay na sa minutes?
Minutes, okay. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the minutes of the previous BAC meetings, HO-BAC PGCS numbers 063-2020 and 064-2020 dated October 6, 2020.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
This is move as a kind of approve the minutes of previous BAC meetings, do any position there too?
None, Mr. Chair.
Case number 063-2020 and 064-2020, both held at October 6, 2020, are duly approved as presented as listed in the next item regarding the post-qualification reports. Is it acceptable to provide the minutes reports?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, post-qualification report on Mara Linux and Business Solution Incorporated relative to the supply delivery installation implementation of profile and engineering system PGCS under PGCS 056-2020. Based on the duly approved evaluation report and as per instruction of the BAC, the PWG conducted a post-qualification on October 16, 2020 on Mara Linux and Business Solutions Incorporated. After verification, to establish that the bidder complied with all the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements for the said procurement. Further, Mara Linux and Business Solutions Incorporated is not included in the blacklisted entities as of October 16 per GPPB website. Based on the result of the post-qualification, The TWG recommends that the bid proposal of Mara Linux and Business Solutions Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 34,486,029 and 20 centavos be declared as a single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the DWG recommendation to declare Mara Linux and Business Solutions Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 34,486,029 pesos and 20 centavos as the single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of the Republic Act number 9184.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, we move that we candidate to approve the recommendation of the technical working group as contained in their post-qualification report on Mara Linux and Business Solutions Incorporated for the supply, delivery, installation, and implementation of Port Profile Engineering System PGCS. Is there any position there too? There's
None, Mr. Chair.
the bid proposal of Mara Linux and Business Solutions Incorporated as calculated bid price of 34,486,029 pesos and 20 centavos is hereby declared as a single calculated responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10 for the 2016 revised RR of the Republic Act number 9184. Secretary Silva started the procedure of operation of the necessary resolution and notes. Procedure and support.
Post-qualification report on Citracon Corporation relative to the supply, delivery, and installation of systems, furniture, and seating package for the Human Resource Management Department under BAC PGCS 184-2020. Based on the duly approved bid evaluation report and as per instruction of the BAC, the TWG conducted a post-qualification on October 16, 2020 on Citracon Corporation. After verification, it was established that the bidder complied with all the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements for the said procurement. Further, Citracon Corporation is not included in the list of blacklisted entities as of October 16, 2020 per GPTV website. Based on the result of the post-qualification, the TWG recommends that the bid proposal of Citracon Corporation at its calculated bid price of 2,874,273.35 pesos be declared as the single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of the Republic Act number 9184.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move to adopt the recommendation of the technical working group declaring Citracon Corporation with a calculated bid price of 2,874,273.35 centavos be declared as the single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of Republic Act 9184.
Second motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, we move that we candidate to approve the recommendation of the technical working group as contained in their post-qualification report on Citracon Corporation for the supply, delivery, and installation of systems, furniture, and seating package for the Human Resource Management Department. Do I have any position there too?
None, Mr. Chair.
There being none, the bid proposal of Citracon Corporation has calculated bid price of 2,874,273 pesos and 35 centavos is hereby declared as a single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised RR of the Republic Act number 9184. Secretary Silva instructed the procedure of operation of the necessary resolution and notices. Proceed.
Post-qualification report on Columbia Technologies Incorporated relative to the procurement of information technology resources Block 1 OEM branded laptop computers under BAC PGCS 050-2020. Based on the duly approved bid evaluation report and as per instruction of the BAC, the TWUG conducted a post-qualification on October 16, 2020 on Columbia Technologies Incorporated. After verification, to establish that the bidder complied with all the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements for the said procurement. Further, Columbia Technologies Incorporated is not included in the list of blacklisted entities as of October 16, 2020 per GPTV website. Based on the result of the post-qualification, the TWG recommends that the bid proposal of Columbia Technologies Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 9,400,000 pesos be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the recommendation of the TWG declaring Columbia Technologies Incorporated with the calculated bid price of 9,400,000 pesos be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
So, balik yung subject din.
Mr. Wu, Secretary will approve the recommendation of the Technical Working Group as contained in the post-qualification report of Columbia Technologies Incorporated for the procurement of information technology IT resources, Lot 1, OEM branded laptop computers. You are in a position there too. There being none, the bid proposal of Columbia Technologies Incorporated is described with a bid price of 9,400,000 pesos, which survey declares the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised RRR of the Republic Act number 9184. Proceed with the preparation of necessary resolution and policies. Proceed to the next report.
Post-qualification report in Columbia Technologies Incorporated relative to the procurement of information technology IT resources Block 3 laser printer with wireless LAN under BAC PGCS 4048-2020. Based on the duly approved bid evaluation report and as per instruction of the BAC, the TWG conducted a post-qualification on October 16, 2020 on Columbia Technologies Incorporated. After verification, it was established that the bidder complied with all the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements for the said procurement. Further, Columbia Technologies is not included in the list of blacklisted entities as of October 16, 2020 per GPTV website. Based on the result of the post-qualification, the TWG recommends that the bid proposal of Columbia Technologies Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 1,592,500 pesos be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the DWG recommendation to declare Columbia Technologies Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 1,592,500 pesos as the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
In this move, second, adopt recommendation to the technical working group as contained in the post-qualification report on Columbia Technologies Incorporated for procurement of information technology, IT resources, strategy, laser printer with wireless LAN. So, position number two.
None, Mr. Chair.
The proposal of Columbia Technologies Incorporated and its calculated bid price of 1,592,500 pesos, which hereby declared the lowest calculated responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of the Rocky Act number 9184. Second, by starting procedure preparation of the necessary resolution and notices. On to the next report.
Post-qualification report on Columbia Technologies Incorporated relative to the procurement of information technology resources Lot 4 Inkjet 83 printer under BAC PGCS 048-2020. Based on the result on the jury approved bid evaluation report and as per instruction of the BAC, the TWG conducted a post-qualification on October 16, 2020 on Columbia Technologies Incorporated. After verification, it was established that the bidder complied with all the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements for the said procurement. Further, Columbia Technologies Incorporated is not included in the list of blacklisted entities as of October 16, 2020 per GPPD website. Based on the result of the post-qualification, the TWG recommends that the bid proposal of Columbia Technologies Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 1,755,000 pesos be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of Republic Act number 9184.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the recommendation of the technical working group declaring Columbia Technologies Incorporated with a calculated bid price of 1,755,000 pesos be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
It is removed that the kind of recommendation of the technical working group as contained in their post-qualification report on Columbia Technologies Incorporated for procurement of information technology, IT resources, Lot 4, Inkjet 83 printers. Okay, any opposition thereto? There being none, the bid proposal of Columbia Technologies Incorporated at a calculated bid price of 1,755,000 pesos is hereby declared the lowest calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised RRR of the Republic Act number 9184. Again, article instructed procedure preparation of necessary resolution and notices. On to the next report.
Post-qualification report on American Technologies Incorporated relative to the procurement of information technology resources Lot 5 high-speed scanners with automatic document feeder under BAC PGCS 049-2020. Based on the duly approved bid evaluation report and as per instruction of the BAC, the TWG conducted a post-qualification on October 16, 2020 on American Technologies Incorporated. After verification, it was established that the bidder complied with all the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements for the said procurement. Further, American Technologies is not included in the list of blacklisted entities as of October 16, 2020 per GPPD website. Based on the result of the post-qualification, the TWG recommends that the bid proposal of American Technologies Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 2,540,160 pesos be declared as the single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the PWG recommendation to declare American Technologies Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 2,540,160 pesos as the single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10, Section 34 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, we move the second to adopt recommendation of effective working group as containing the post-qualification report on American Technologies Incorporated for procurement of information technology, IT resources, classified, IT standards with automatic blocking feature. Going to position there too.
Mr. Chair.
There being none, the proposal of American Technologies Incorporated as calculated bid price of 2,540,160 pesos. Each year we declare a single calculated and responsive bid pursuant to Rule 10 and report for the 2016 revised our Public Act number 91. Necessary resolution and notice. Technical working group, are you ready to submit your bid evaluation reports?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Bid evaluation report for the supply, delivery, and installation of 52 units mass reverse screening system under BAC PGCS 091-2020. The approved budget for the contract to be bid as published and advertised is 104 million pesos. The invitation to bid for the supply, delivery, and installation of 52 units mass reverse screening system was posted on September 23, 2020 in the PPA and PhilChep's websites and at a conspicuous place at the PPA premises continuously for 7 calendar days. In response to the said invitation to bid, Boston Home Incorporated secured the bid documents in the amount of 50,000 pesos. During the pre-bid conference, on October 1, 2020, the BAC clarified the requirements, terms, conditions, and specifications stipulated in the bidding documents, the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid. Boston Home Incorporated dropped its technical and financial bids in their respective bid boxes before the deadline of 9 a.m. on October 14, 2020. In the presence of the bidder's representative, the first envelope of Boston Home Incorporated was opened and checked by the BAC members to determine the bidder's compliance to the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements. After the evaluation, the BAC and on motion duly made and properly seconded, Boston Home Incorporated was declared as passed with the requirements of the first envelope. Thereafter, the second envelope of Boston Home Incorporated was opened. The documentary requirements were checked and the bid price was read by the chairperson and then recorded. Upon motion duly made and properly seconded, Boston Home Incorporated was declared as passed with the requirements for the second envelope. As a first step to determine the lowest calculated bid, detailed evaluation of the bid of Boston Home Incorporated amounting to 103,376,000 pesos was undertaken. The bid offer of Boston Home Incorporated conformed to the required items specified in the bid form. No deviation nor arithmetical errors were found in the bid proposal of the said bidder. Pursuant to Rule 9, Section 32 of the 2016 revised IRR of Republic Act number 9184 and based on the result of the bid evaluation, the TWG recommends to declare Boston Home Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 103,376,000 pesos as the single calculated bidder and that post-qualification be conducted on the said bid.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the recommendation of the technical working group declaring Boston Home Incorporated with a calculated bid price of 103,376,000 pesos as the single calculated bidder that post-qualification be conducted on the said bidder.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, the rule is seconded to adopt the recommendation of technical working group as contained in the bid operation report for supply, delivery, and installation of 52 units mass fever screening system. Do any petition there too?
None, Mr. Chair.
There being none, Boston Home Incorporated has established the bid price of 103,376,000 pesos is hereby declared the single calculated bidder. Technical working group hereby instructed to proceed the post qualification of said bidder. On to the next report.
Mr. Chair, bid evaluation report for the procurement of information technology resources, Lot 2, OEM branded desktop computers under BAC PGCS 051 2020. The approved budget for the contract to be bid as published advertised is 20 million pesos. The invitation to bid for the procurement of IT resources, Lot 2, was posted on September 9, 2020 in the PKA and PhilCheck's websites and at conspicuous place at the PKA premises continuously for 7 calendar days. In response to said invitation to bid, Columbia Technologies Incorporated, Accent Microtechnologies Incorporated, and Dallas Enterprises secured the bid documents in the amount of 25,000 pesos. During the credit conference held on September 22, 2020, the BAC clarified the requirements, terms, conditions, and specifications stipulated in the bidding documents, the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid. Columbia Technologies Incorporated and Dallas Enterprises dropped their technical and financial bids before the deadline of 9 a.m. on October 7, 2020. Accent Microtechnologies did not submit its technical and financial proposal before the deadline of submission thereof, nor did submit any letter of withdrawal to participate in the bidding for the said project. In the presence of the bidders' representatives, the first envelope of Columbia Technologies Incorporated and Dallas Enterprises were opened and checked by the BAC members to determine the bidders' compliance to the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements. After due evaluation by the BAC and a motion duly made and properly seconded, Columbia Technologies Incorporated was declared as passed with the requirements of the first envelope. Dallas Enterprises was declared as failed for the failure to comply with the weight requirement of not more than 5.5 kilograms or 12.2 pounds, considering that the brochure submitted for HP Pro 1 400 G624 all-in-one PC indicated that the weight thereof is 7.75 kilograms, lowest weight configuration with adjustable height stand. Weight will vary by configuration. Dallas Enterprises signified that it will file a request for reconsideration on its failed rating. Thereafter, the second envelope of Columbia Technologies was opened. The documentary requirements were checked and the bid price was read by the chairperson and then recorded. Upon a motion duly made and properly seconded, Columbia Technologies was declared as passed with the requirements for the second envelope. In a letter dated October 12, which was received by the BAC on the even date, Dallas Enterprises seeks reconsideration, contending that the goods being offered is an all-in-one desktop computer, which means that the CPU is built into the desk monitor and hence the weight specified in the brochure is the total combined weight of the monitor, CPU, and adjustable height stand. Upon motion duly made and properly seconded, the BAC granted the request for reconsideration of Dallas Enterprises, considering that there was no clear indication that the weight requirement of not more than 5.5 kilograms or 12.2 pounds under the terms of reference pertains to the monitor or the CPU or to both monitor and CPU. On October 16, 2020 at 10 a.m., the second envelope of Dallas Enterprises was opened. The documentary requirements were checked and the bid price was read by the chairperson and then recorded. Upon motion duly made and properly seconded, Dallas Enterprises was declared as passed with the requirements for the second envelope. As the first step to determine the lowest calculated bid, detailed evaluation of the bid was undertaken. Dallas Enterprises was ranked as number one with its bid price offer of 19,400,000 and 1 centavos. 1 peso. 1 peso. while Columbia Technologies was ranked as number 2 with bid price offer of 19,500,000 pesos. The bid offers of Dallas Enterprise and Columbia Technologies conform to the required items specified in the bid form. No deviation were found in the bid proposal of both bidders. No arithmetical or computational errors were found in the proposed bid financial proposal of said bidders. Pursuant to Rule 9, Section 32 of the 2016 revised IRR RA 9184, and based on the result of the bid evaluation, the TWG recommends to declare Dallas Enterprises at its calculated bid price of 19,400,001 pesos as the lowest calculated bidder in the cost qualification reconducted on said bidder.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the recommendation of the technical working group declaring Dallas Enterprises with a calculated bid price of 19,400,001 peso as the lowest calculated bidder in that post qualification be conducted on the said bidder.
Second motion, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved and seconded without recommendation of the technical working group as contained in the resolution report for the procurement of information technology, IT and markets, LACU, OEM branded desktop computers. Do any position therefore? Hearing none, Dallas Enterprises has calculated bid price of 19,400,001 pesos. It should be declared as the lowest calculated bid. Technical working group is instructed to pursue the post qualification of the said bidder. On to the last report.
Bid evaluation report for the procurement of services for the repair and maintenance, waterproofing, painting of roofing at deck of PTA head office under BAC PGCS 192-2020. The approved budget for the contract to be bid as published and advertised is 5 million pesos. The invitation to bid for the said project was posted on September 23, 2020 in the PTA and PhilChec's websites and at a conspicuous place at the PTA premises continuously for 7 calendar days. In response to the said invitation to bid, Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines and Enecon Philippines Incorporated secured the bid documents in the amount of 5,000 pesos. During the pre-bid conference held on October 1, 2020, the BAC clarified the requirements, terms, conditions, and specifications stipulated in the bidding documents, the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid. Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines and Enecon Philippines Incorporated dropped their technical and financial bids before the deadline of 1 p.m. on October 14, 2020. In the presence of bidders' representatives, the first envelopes of Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines and Enecon Philippines Incorporated were opened and checked by the BAC members to determine the bidders' compliance to the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements. After due evaluation by the BAC and the motion duly made and properly seconded, Enecon Philippines was declared as passed with the requirements of the first envelope. Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines was declared as failed with the requirements of the first envelope for failure to comply with the technical specification. Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines signified that it would file a request for consideration on its failed rating. Hence, said bidder was advised that the BAC will be retaining its unopened second envelope pending the resolution of the said request for reconsideration. Thereafter, the second envelope of Enecon Philippines was opened. The documentary requirements were checked and the bid price was read by the chairperson and then recorded. Upon motion duly made and properly seconded, Enecon Philippines Incorporated was declared as passed with the requirements for the second envelope. Thaumaturgy Trade Philippines did not file any request for reconsideration within the prescribed period for the filing thereof. As a first step to determine the lowest calculated bid, detailed evaluation of the bid of Enecon Philippines Incorporated amounting to 4,964,000 pesos was undertaken. The bid offer of Enecon Philippines Incorporated conformed to the required items specified in the bid form. No deviation was found in the bid proposal of Enicon Philippines Incorporated. Arithmetical or computational errors were found in the financial proposal of Enicon Philippines Incorporated amounting to 90 pesos and 88 centavos. Hence, the corrected bid of Enicon Philippines is 4,964,090 pesos and 88 centavos. Pursuant to Rule 9, Section 32 of the 2016 Revised IRR of Republic Act Number 9184, and based on the result of the bid evaluation, which was found to be in order, the technical working group recommends to Enicon Philippines Incorporated at its calculated bid price of 4,964,000 pesos as the single calculated bidder, and that post-qualification be conducted on the said bidder.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the recommendation of the Technical Working Group declaring Enecon Philippines Incorporated with a calculated bid price of 4,964,000 pesos as the single calculated bidder and that post-qualification be conducted on the said bidder.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
It has been moved and seconded without the recommendation of technical working group as contained in the evaluation report for the procurement of services for the repair and maintenance, waterproofing, painting, and roofing at deck of TPA head office. Do I have addition thereto? There being none, Enicon Philippines Incorporated has calculated bid price of 4,964,000 pesos and is hereby declared the single calculated bidder technical working group is hereby instructed to proceed to the post-qualification of the said bidder.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Anything else?
None, Mr. Chair.